On down and down.
Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. So I've been living in Japan for a few months now, and naturally some of you guys have had questions about my living arrangements or what life is like. So I am going to be answering some questions. Before I start though, if you like this cozy, adorable, super soft sweater that I have on, it's actually from Chickaberry Boutique. And if you use my code, which is right down here, you'll get a discount. So go ahead and check them out. All right, so first question that I got is what has been the most difficult thing to adjust to since moving? This is such a difficult question to answer because it hasn't just been like one thing. I think the most difficult thing that I've had to adjust to really is just the being away from my family. When I lived in Tennessee, I lived about a 15-minute drive from my mom's, and we have lived apart in the past. There was a time where I lived in North Carolina and my mom lived in Tennessee, so it's definitely like not completely unknown territory for me. I have lived apart from or far from my family, my immediate family, my mom, my sister, but definitely coming to literally the other side of the world with the big time difference, especially now that the time has changed. It has been difficult to adjust to. Somebody asked me, how do I get to Japan? I think the answer is pretty simple. You book a flight, and you are actually allowed to be here for 90 days without a visa, if you're an American citizen. I don't really know how it works for UK, if you're from the United Kingdom or from another part of the world. If you're a student, you can come through your school and do like a study abroad program if your school offers that. I would think a lot of schools do. And the periods of time vary. Sometimes it's one semester, sometimes it's a whole year or more. So it just kind of depends on what you're looking for, what your major is. Next question is, which is actually probably a question that has been reoccurring, is what do you miss the most about the U.S.? While the U.S. has a lot of things that I just don't like, I do, obviously, other than, of course, my family, my immediate family, which is, in the U.S. Honestly, I didn't think I was gonna miss the food as much. Growing up in Puerto Rico, when you think of American food, at least for me, I kind of always thought of burgers and hot dogs and stuff that wasn't really healthy for you. Living in the South, though, is different than living up north. Living in the South, I think you definitely have better, Southern home-cooked meals. I definitely didn't think I was gonna miss driving. I don't really have the need to drive here in Japan. I don't have a car here. The only driving I've done since I've been here was when I did the Mario Kart racing, which was super fucking fun. Oh, this one's good. How easy it is to come to Japan without knowing any Japanese. If you're coming here for vacation and you stay at like a hotel or an Airbnb or, a hostel or whatever, I would think it's pretty simple to, not know any Japanese and get by. And there are a lot of places to go eat where speaking isn't even required. You can just go to whatever ramen place and they'll have a little machine with the ticket and you click what you want and you hand it over to them, and very, very minimal talking here. If you're coming here to live though, I would suggest knowing at least basic phrases like ego hanasemasu ka, where is something, like say we're asking for where the train station is, you say eki wa doko desu ka. Yeah, knowing basic things can really get you a long way if you plan on being here for an extended period of time. Somebody asked, hardest thing to get used to. I kind of feel like this kind of goes in line with what I said previously. I think the hardest thing to get used to, other than, you know, missing my family, has really just been the pace of life here. Life can be pretty fast paced, especially, you know, if you go to one of the bigger you know, cities, not where I live, of course. Yeah, I think the hardest thing to get for me to have gotten used to, that I still haven't gotten used to, I'm still learning, is just the fast pace of it all, and also just the trains, and taking the trains and the different train lines that you need, and figuring out how to commute. That has been difficult. I definitely miss being able to just getting in my car and just going someplace. So somebody asked, when are you coming back? I really, honestly, if it wasn't for my mom and my sister, I could probably, you know, stay here. Not in my particular apartment though, because as some of you may know, my apartment is extremely small. And Alex and I actually have talked about, if we stay here, you know, for a longer term, we would definitely prefer moving, not necessarily out of our area because we like our neighborhood, but definitely into a bigger place with more square footage. But to answer the question, I am coming back, obviously. When? I don't know. I don't know when I'm coming back. I don't, like I said, I don't really want to. So it says, any tips on anyone going to Japan? If I had to give a tip, definitely plan ahead. Don't just book a flight and come, because if you've never been here before and you don't know the language, it's going to be very overwhelming. Definitely plan ahead. Definitely learn some basic phrases. Oh, get you a Suica card or a Pasmo. That will solve a lot of problems for you and prevent a lot of headaches. So definitely getting yourself a transportation pass will help you out a lot. And they're reloadable and they never expire, so you can come in a year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, and if you have money left on your Suica, you can use it again. Somebody asked, what has been your favorite thing about living in Japan? I just honestly love the people here, the people that I've crossed paths with. I love the culture. I love learning about you know, different customs that they have, different dialects, and not just with Japan particularly. It's just something that I enjoy in general. Like, if I ever were to go to Italy, I could probably tell you the same thing, that I love learning about them. And I think people, for the most part, are really nice, and that's something that I'm not really used to. Not to say that there's not assholes here. Of course, there's assholes everywhere, but I definitely like the helpfulness and the willingness to help, and that sense of, I guess, community that I've built here. I think it's been nice. I love that it's been hard to be bored, because there's so many things to do, especially if you're not from here and you didn't grow up in this environment. it can be very exciting. And for me, it's still very exciting to head to a new part of town or a new neighborhood and see what food spots they have and what sweets they have and what the latest clothing trends are. All those things are things that that I enjoy. All right, last question. Somebody asked, how have I been dealing with my depression in Japan? So, trigger warning. I've talked about it plenty of times in my channel and in the past, and I have a whole video about how I manage to stay positive, and I'll link it up here. Obviously depression is something that it's never gonna go away. I'm always gonna have to deal with it. Being in Japan really is not that different from being anywhere else in the world when it comes to my state of mind. Yes, there's been times where I've gotten sad because, I miss my mom, or I miss my sister, or I miss driving, or I miss, going to Olive Garden, or whatever the case may be. So I have had more instances of feeling, down and feeling blue. I don't think that that's being depressed though, and I think a lot of people get that confused. I feel like when you tell people that you suffer from depression, they automatically think that, oh well, you're just sad all the time. And I think depression is something that varies. It comes in waves, and everybody experiences it differently. So I have, been sad at times. Yes, I have been homesick, especially as of lately with, the holidays coming and stuff. So yeah, I definitely don't think being in Japan has made my depression better or worse. I think it's mostly mental. Whew. That was all the questions that I got, or most of the questions. Some of the questions were pretty repetitive, so I tried to, narrow them down. If you have any more questions for me about, what my life is like here or anything like that, just go ahead and comment down below. And I hope you're having an awesome day and an awesome rest of the week wherever you are. And I will talk to you guys in the next one. Mwah. Bye.